So for the past 15 years, beloved comedian Rickey Smiley has entertained folks all across the country every morning with his radio show, The Rickey Smiley Morning Show. And his fans know that Rickey has carried on spreading laughter and smiles, all while facing a personal tragedy.
That's right. Rickey's son, Brandon, suddenly died in January of last year. And a few months later, Rickey opened up about the tremendous loss right here on our show. And now Rickey's back. He's back to share his important new book chronicling his journey. It's called Sideshow, Living with Loss and Moving Forward with Faith. Welcome back, sir. Welcome
Thank you
back,
for having
Rickey.
me.
Thank you. You and we spoke a few months after Brandon died. And at that point, you were still processing all of it. First of all, how are you doing today as we sit here?
I'm doing great through therapy. God brings joy, brings a lot of joy. I'm just so excited, to be here to promote this book, to help people on grief and give people tools that they can use along their grief process. So it's just a pleasure to be here. And I feel a lot better than I felt the last time I was here.
Mm-hmm. Why did you want to put all of this down in a book? Why did you feel like that was something that you needed and people needed?
Well, being a public figure, being a stand-up comedian, people are always wondering, how are you? Because my job is to make people laugh. Mm-hmm. And that's the purpose of naming the book Sideshow from Blue Magic. Let the sideshow begin. Yeah. Hurry, hurry, step right on in. Can't afford to pass it by, but guaranteed to make you cry. You're performing, you're making people laugh. You do a morning show every morning. You're doing stand-up comedy, and you're crying on the inside. And just teaching people giving people tools that they could use to help them through the grief process.
So what are some of the tools that help you in dealing with grief that you think could be, particularly helpful to other folks?
Well, it's a stigma that we just got to pray and give it over to God. Mm-hmm. Which is true, because you have to lean on God, and sometimes God have to carry you. However, we don't, open up our Bible when we roll our ankle, right, or when your knee pop out of place, right? So the brain is a muscle, just like the knee and the ankle. So we have to go and get help and get therapy so we can learn how to process those feelings, so you won't go on a downward spiral into sadness, depression. Some people don't recover from grief. Some people die from grief. Mm-hmm. And you have to figure out how to get through the process and recognize the angels that God sent, because God sends angels through other people. So this book is so helpful. It's going to help a lot of people.
What about, especially for men and men of color, the idea of dealing with grief and being open about it, as in crying, things like that. How important is that?
It is important to cry. I have a third step that goes down into my kitchen, and I sit on that third step, and I go at it. With the echoes, the screams, I cry it out, and I just get it out of my system, because it's like a pressure cooker, right? If you don't pop that steam cap, and crying is letting some of the steam off. Yes. Because the pressure cooker, when it builds pressure, it explodes, and you can lose your mind. So you have to cry it out. And then get into moments of happiness, things that you like to do, going to the beach, going to a movie, going to a comedy show. I recommend comedy. I recommend you go to any comedy club in the United States and sit there and just laugh, because that helps you with the healing process. Mm-hmm.
In the book, you also write about holding joy and grief simultaneously. How does one go about doing that? How do you hold joy and grief at the same time?
Yeah, you just have to process the grief, but you have to have joy. It's like food. You have to find joy, because joy it builds you up. And sometimes grief comes, it'll tear you back down, but then you have to find some more joy to build you back up. And then we have to also realize, right when you think that you're going through something bad, someone else has it worse. A lady lost both of her sons in L.A. a week after my son died. I have 2 sons, right? God could have taken both of my sons. Sure. Right, but he only called one to be with him, but that could have been me. Yeah. So those are the little angels, the lights that come through the cloud when it's cloudy. Those little beams, those are the little things that you have to count, and it's all about the perspective. What window you're gonna look out of to see how you're gonna look at this situation. So I just think, to God be the glory. I just thank him for his grace and his mercy, because this can take you out if you don't process it the right way.
Rickey, thank you.
Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
You're taking that tragedy and you're turning it into something that's going to be very helpful for a lot of folks.
Yes.
And again, folks, the book is called Sideshow, Living with Loss and moving forward with faith. It's out Tuesday, September 17th.